Welcome to the Sleep Lectures channel. We're glad you're here. If you're looking for calm, if you want to relax after a long day, or gently drift into sleep, you're in the right place. Here, we create slow and soothing lectures designed to help you step away from daily noise, quiet your thoughts, and prepare for rest. Make yourself comfortable, close your eyes, and let the voice guide you. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't lose us and can return whenever you need peace and relaxation. And now, let's begin our calm journey. If you look at the map of South America, you can notice a vast green area. It covers millions of square kilometers, and it is almost entirely covered with dense forest. This is the Amazon. From above, this forest looks like an endless green ocean. Trees stretch all the way to the horizon, and it feels as if this forest never ends. If you watch this landscape for a while, a sense of calm begins to appear, as if this entire world exists in its own rhythm, slow, unhurried. There is no city noise here, no rush, only the wind, the movement of leaves, and the quiet sounds of nature. The Amazon is the largest tropical forest on Earth. It stretches across several countries and covers an area comparable to entire continents. There are thousands of rivers here, millions of plant species, and countless animals. But despite all of this, most of this forest remains largely unexplored. There are places where humans rarely go. There are areas of forest where human footprints appear only once every few years. The reason for this is very simple. The Amazon is enormous, and reaching many of its regions is extremely difficult. There are no roads here, no familiar paths. The only way to move is along the rivers or slowly walk through the dense jungle. But the jungle can be a difficult place. Heat, high humidity, thick vegetation. Sometimes even a few kilometers can take an entire day because you have to literally make your way through vines and trees. And that is why this forest remains one of the most mysterious places on Earth. Through this vast green world flows a great river, the Amazon River. It moves slowly through the dense jungle. Sometimes its surface is calm, almost still. Sometimes gentle waves appear, softly spreading across the water. In some places, the river is so wide that the opposite bank is almost impossible to see. If you look closely at the water, you may notice slight movements. Sometimes it is fish, sometimes other creatures of the river, but most of the time the surface remains calm, and it feels as if nothing is happening beneath it. But in reality, an entire world is hidden below the surface, a world that humans rarely see. If you continue observing the Amazon long enough, you begin to notice something interesting. The forest never feels completely still. Even in moments of silence, there is always something happening. A distant sound, a slight movement, a quiet shift in the air, and slowly you start to realize that this forest is constantly alive. Rivers play a special role in this world. They do not simply pass through the jungle, they connect it. They carry life from one place to another. Some rivers are wide, others are narrow and hidden between trees, but all of them move slowly, as if following the same calm rhythm. Early in the morning, a soft mist appears above the water. It rises slowly, covering the river in a gentle haze. For a moment, It feels as if the river disappears and everything becomes quieter. Only the soft sound of water remains. Sometimes a fish moves beneath the surface. A small ripple spreads outward, then fades away. As the sun rises, light begins to pass through the trees. It touches the water, the leaves, the ground, and the jungle slowly begins to wake up. Birds start to call. Some sounds are sharp, others are soft and distant. Together, they create a quiet morning rhythm. If you look carefully, you may notice movement among the branches. Monkeys move slowly through the trees. They pause, they listen, then continue almost silently. But most of the forest remains hidden. Many animals stay out of sight. They move quietly, carefully, because in a place like this, every sound matters. And that is why the jungle can feel empty, even when it is full of life. If you stop and remain still, you begin to notice more. A leaf moving slightly, a shadow passing between branches, a small bird resting for just a moment, then disappearing again. Sometimes you may see long lines of insects. They move slowly across the ground, each carrying something, each following the same path. Everything here has a purpose. Nothing happens too quickly, nothing is wasted, and over time, you begin to feel the rhythm of this place, the rhythm of water, the rhythm of rain, the rhythm of the forest itself. It is slow, steady, endless. This forest existed long before modern cities, long before roads, long before machines. It continued to grow, to change, to live, and even now, it continues the same quiet process. Generation after generation, the forest remains, and perhaps that is what makes the Amazon so unique. It does not follow human time, it follows its own rhythm, a rhythm that has existed for thousands of years and will continue long after everything else changes. If you spend enough time in the Amazon, you begin to notice something else. The forest does not only change during the day, it changes with time, with light, and with silence. As the sun slowly moves across the sky, the jungle shifts, almost imperceptibly. Shadows grow longer, the air becomes heavier, and the sounds begin to soften. Some birds become quiet, others move deeper into the trees, and little by little, the forest prepares for evening. There is no sudden change. Everything happens slowly, naturally, as if the forest already knows. What comes next? The light becomes softer, warmer. It passes through the leaves in thin, golden lines, touching the ground, the water, the trunks of trees. And in these moments, everything feels calm, almost suspended, as if time itself slows down. The river reflects the fading light. Its surface becomes smooth. Still, only small ripples appear from time to time, then disappear, and the forest becomes quieter, not silent, but quieter. A different kind of sound begins to emerge, softer, deeper, more distant. You may hear a single bird call, then nothing for a while, then another sound somewhere far away, and again, silence. If you stay still and listen carefully, you begin to notice the space between sounds, the pauses, the stillness, and that stillness becomes part of the experience. The air feels warmer, heavier, filled with moisture. Every breath feels slow, unhurried, and the forest seems to move at the same pace. Nothing rushes, nothing forces itself. Everything simply exists. Leaves move gently, with almost no wind. Branches remain still, and the light continues to fade, gradually, almost unnoticed, until the jungle begins to enter another state, a quieter one, a deeper one. And as evening slowly turns into night, the forest changes once again, but not with noise, not with sudden movement, only with a shift in feeling, a soft transition from light into darkness, from activity into calm. And if you allow yourself to simply observe, to breathe slowly, to listen without effort, you begin to feel how peaceful this place truly is, a vast world that does not need to hurry, a world that simply continues, moment by moment, in its own quiet rhythm. As evening slowly fades, the jungle begins to enter the night. There is no clear moment when day becomes darkness. It happens gradually, very gently, almost unnoticed. The last light disappears behind the trees, and the forest grows darker, deeper, more still, but the jungle never becomes truly silent. Instead, new sounds begin to appear, at first very soft, almost impossible to hear, a faint vibration in the air, a distant repeating sound, then another and another, and slowly the night begins to take shape. Insects begin their quiet rhythm, a steady, continuous sound, soft, almost hypnotic. It fills the space between the trees, between the leaves, between each breath. Sometimes a single call breaks through, a bird or something unseen. The sound echoes briefly, then disappears, and once again the calm returns. The air becomes cooler, but still heavy, still filled with moisture. A thin mist begins to rise, especially near the river. It moves slowly, like a quiet breath above the water. The surface of the river reflects the night sky, dark, almost still. Sometimes a small movement appears, a ripple, a soft disturbance. Then everything settles again. In the distance, something moves through the forest, slowly, carefully, but it remains unseen, hidden, part of the darkness. This is the nature of the jungle at night. It does not reveal itself. It only allows you to feel it. If you remain still and listen, without effort, you begin to sense the space around you, the depth, the vastness. Above, through small openings in the leaves, you may see the sky, a few quiet stars, distant, unmoving, and below, the forest continues its slow, endless rhythm, unchanged, unhurried. This rhythm does not depend on time, not on clocks, not on human schedules. It simply exists. And in this moment, everything feels distant. The outside world, the noise, the rush, all of it fades away. And what remains is calm, deep, quiet calm, the kind of calm that allows the mind to slow down, the kind of calm that gently carries you into rest. And as the jungle continues its endless, quiet life, you can simply remain here, listening, breathing, and letting everything become still. As the night continues, the jungle does not sleep, it simply changes. Some parts of the forest become quieter, others begin to awaken. Hidden movements start to appear, slow, careful. Somewhere among the trees, something shifts. A branch moves slightly, then becomes still again. On the forest floor, small creatures begin their quiet search, moving through leaves almost without sound. The ground itself feels alive, soft, layered with time. Every step, every movement becomes part of the forest. Nothing stands out. Everything blends into the darkness. The air remains heavy, warm, still, and yet it feels calm, not overwhelming, not intense, just present. Insects continue their steady rhythm, repeating patterns again and again. It is not noise, it is a quiet background, a constant layer of sound. Occasionally, a different tone appears, a lower sound, slower, then it fades, returning to the same soft pattern. Somewhere near the river, the mist thickens. It drifts slowly between the trees, touching the water. Everything feels softer here. Edges disappear, shapes become less clear. The jungle becomes more than a place. It becomes a feeling, a quiet presence. If you stay long enough, you begin to notice how little is needed. No bright light, no strong movement, no urgency. Only the rhythm, only the calm, only the slow passing of time. And as you continue to listen, without trying, without focusing, the mind begins to settle. Thoughts become slower, less defined. The forest does not ask for attention. It simply exists around you, and in that quiet presence, everything begins to feel lighter, more distant, more calm. The night continues, the jungle breathes, and the rhythm remains the same, slow, steady, endless. As the night settles deeper, the river becomes even more still, more quiet, more calm. Its surface grows darker, smoother, almost like glass, still and unmoving. There is almost no movement now, almost nothing, only the occasional ripple, soft, gentle, barely visible. The water reflects the forest, but not clearly, not sharply. Everything feels blurred, softened, fading into the night. Edges disappear, shapes dissolve, and slowly, the river becomes part of the darkness. If you watch carefully, very carefully, you may notice something beneath the surface, a slight movement, a quiet shift, almost imagined, almost not there. Then stillness returns, again and again. The depth of the river remains hidden, deep, silent, unknown. It does not reveal anything. It does not need to. It simply holds everything, quietly. And there is something calming in that, something soft, something peaceful. There is no need to understand, no need to see, no need to know, only to observe, to be present, to let the moment pass. Near the edges of the water, the river touches the roots of trees, slowly, gently, without effort. Sometimes a single leaf falls. It lands softly on the surface and begins to drift, slow, weightless, quiet. For a moment, it moves with the water, then it disappears. The air above the river feels cooler, slightly lighter, but still calm, still quiet. A thin mist moves slowly across the surface, almost not moving, almost still. It creates a soft layer between the water and the forest. Everything becomes softer, more distant, less defined. The sounds change here. They become quieter, more spaced out, slower. Nothing feels close. Nothing feels sharp. Nothing demands attention. Only the slow rhythm of water, endless, steady, unchanging. And as you remain here, watching, listening, without effort, without thought, you begin to feel that same stillness, that same calm, that same quiet rhythm. The river does not rush, it does not resist, it simply continues, slow, steady, endless. And in that gentle movement, you begin to slow down too, gently, naturally, without trying, as if carried by the river itself, deeper into calm, deeper into stillness, deeper into rest. As the night continues, the jungle feels deeper, wider, more endless. The darkness is no longer empty. It feels full, full of space, full of quiet presence. Everything becomes slower, more distant, more calm. The trees stand still, tall, silent, unmoving. Their shapes blend into the darkness, soft, almost invisible. Only the outline remains, and even that begins to fade. If you look upward, through small openings in the leaves, you may see the sky, dark, clear, quiet. A few stars appear, distant, still, unchanging. They do not move, they do not flicker, they simply remain. And below, the jungle continues its slow rhythm, unseen, unhurried, endless. The sounds are softer now, even more gentle, more spaced apart. Each sound appears, then disappears, leaving space behind. And that space feels calm, feels open, feels quiet. You begin to notice the silence between sounds, the stillness between moments, the calm between breaths. Everything feels slower, even time itself. There is no need to follow anything, no need to understand, no need to think, only to be here, in this moment, in this quiet space. The air remains warm, soft, still. Each breath feels deeper, slower, more relaxed. The body begins to let go, little by little, without effort, and the mind follows, becoming quieter, lighter, more distant. The forest does not change. It remains the same, calm, endless. But your perception changes. It softens, it slows, it settles. And in this stillness, you begin to feel something deeper, a quiet sense of peace, a steady calm, a gentle release. Nothing is required here. Nothing is expected. Nothing needs to happen. Only the rhythm remains, slow, steady, endless. And as you continue to listen, to breathe, to remain still, the world around you fades further, becoming softer, more distant, almost unreal, and the jungle remains quiet, vast, endless, holding everything in its slow, unchanging rhythm. As the night grows deeper, a soft mist begins to spread. It moves slowly, very slowly, almost without motion. It drifts between the trees, touching the ground, rising gently into the air. Everything begins to soften. Edges fade, shapes become less clear. The forest feels different now, not as a place, but as a presence. Something surrounding you, something quiet, something calm. The mist moves across the river, light, thin, almost transparent. It creates a gentle layer between water and air, between space and silence. The surface of the river becomes even softer, almost unreal, almost still. Reflections disappear, details fade away, everything blends together. The forest, the water, the air, all become one. There is no separation now, no clear boundaries, no sharp lines, only a soft, endless space. The sounds grow quieter, more distant, more spaced apart. Even the insect seems softer now, less defined. Each sound appears slowly, then fades without leaving a trace. The air feels heavy, but calm, still and steady. Each breath becomes deeper, slower, more natural. You do not need to control it. It happens on its own, gently, without effort. The body begins to release tension, little by little, softly. The shoulders relax, the breath slows, the muscles soften, and the mind follows, becoming quieter, less active, more still. Thoughts begin to drift, like the mist itself, slow, light, and fading. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to follow, nothing to think about. Only this moment, only this calm, only this quiet presence. The jungle no longer feels distant. It feels close. It feels surrounding. It feels part of everything. And in this softness, everything becomes lighter, more distant, more calm. The night continues. The mist moves slowly. The forest remains endless, quiet, and still. As the night continues, everything becomes quieter and softer. The sounds are still there, but they feel more distant now, more gentle, more calm, as if they are slowly moving further away. Each sound appears slowly and fades just as slowly, leaving behind a quiet space. And in that space, there is stillness, a soft, steady stillness. You begin to notice it more clearly, the silence between sounds, the calm between each moment. Everything feels slower now. Time stretches, softens, and slowly begins to fade. There is no need to follow anything, no need to think ahead, no need to hold on to thoughts. Everything simply passes, slowly, gently, without effort. Your breathing becomes calmer, more natural, each breath flowing into the next, without interruption, and with every breath, the body relaxes more, quietly, almost unnoticed. The tension fades as if it was never there. Your shoulders soften, your muscles release, and the body feels heavier in a calm, comfortable way. The mind follows this rhythm, slowing down, becoming quieter, more distant. Thoughts begin to drift, appearing softly, then fading away without leaving anything behind. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to return to, nothing that needs your attention. Only this quiet, this slow, steady calm. The jungle feels far away now, soft, quiet, almost unreal. The sounds blend together into one gentle background, a calm presence that surrounds everything. And within that calm, everything becomes lighter, easier, slower, more peaceful. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to think about, nothing left to control, only to let go, gently, naturally, without effort. And as everything continues to slow, you can simply drift deeper and deeper into that quiet space where everything becomes still and calm and soft. As the night continues to deepen, everything becomes even more still, more quiet, more calm. The air feels softer now, cooler, yet still warm in its own way. It surrounds everything, without pressure, without movement. The forest remains the same, but it feels more distant, more quiet, almost as if it is slowly fading. The sounds continue, but they no longer stand out. They blend together into something soft and continuous, like a gentle background, steady, unchanging, calm. You no longer focus on individual sounds. They simply exist and pass. Your breathing slows even more, becoming deeper, more natural, more quiet. Each breath flows easily, without effort, without interruption. The body feels heavier now, more relaxed, more settled. There is no tension left to release. It has already faded, quietly, completely. The mind becomes softer, slower, less defined. Thoughts no longer form clearly. They drift and dissolve like distant echoes, fading into silence. Nothing asks for attention now. Nothing interrupts the calm. Nothing needs to be followed. Only this steady, quiet presence remains. The forest feels far away, soft, almost weightless. The river continues somewhere in the distance, moving slowly, without sound, without effort. Everything continues, but nothing demands your awareness, and in this stillness, you begin to feel completely at ease, safe, calm, and quiet. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to think about, nothing left to hold, only to remain in this calm, in this quiet, in this gentle stillness. And as everything continues to slow, you drift further and further into rest. As the night becomes even deeper, everything begins to feel softer, more distant, more quiet. The forest is still there, but it feels far away now, almost like a memory, soft and fading. The sounds continue gently, but they no longer stand apart. They blend together into one soft, endless flow. You no longer notice where one sound ends and another begins. Everything becomes one, slow, steady, calm rhythm. Your breathing follows this rhythm, slow, easy, natural. Each breath feels softer than the last, deeper, more relaxed. The body feels completely at rest, heavy, comfortable, still. There is nothing left to release, nothing left to change, nothing left to do. The mind becomes quiet, very quiet, almost still. Thoughts fade before they fully form. They appear, then disappear, without effort. Nothing holds your attention now. Nothing pulls you back. Nothing interrupts the calm. Only this softness remains. Only this stillness. Only this quiet space. The jungle feels very far away now, almost weightless, almost gone. The river continues somewhere, but you no longer follow it. You simply remain here, in this calm, in this quiet. Everything feels slower, softer, more distant. And as this calm deepens, you begin to let go even more, gently, naturally, without effort, drifting further and further into stillness. As everything becomes quieter, the sense of the forest begins to fade even more, softly, almost completely. The sounds are still present, but they feel very far away now, distant, barely noticeable. They no longer form clear shapes. They no longer stand apart. They simply exist as a soft background. Your awareness becomes lighter, less focused, less defined. There is nothing to follow now, nothing to observe, nothing to understand, only a quiet, endless calm. Your breathing continues slowly, naturally, without effort. Each breath flows into the next, soft, steady, unbroken. The body feels completely still, completely relaxed, completely at ease. There is no tension left anywhere, no need to adjust anything, no need to move. Everything is already calm, already quiet, already at rest. The mind becomes almost silent, very soft, very distant. Thoughts no longer stay. They appear faintly, then fade immediately. Nothing holds you here. Nothing pulls you back. Nothing interrupts the calm. Only this deep, quiet stillness. The jungle is no longer something you follow. It is simply there, somewhere far away, soft, endless, and quiet. And as everything continues to soften, you begin to drift even deeper, without effort, without thought, without resistance, gently, slowly, naturally, into rest. As everything continues to slow, there is nothing left to follow, nothing left to hold on to, nothing left to notice. Only this quiet remains, soft, endless, and calm. The sense of the forest fades even further now, becoming distant, almost gone. The sounds are no longer separate. They blend together completely into one gentle, continuous stillness. Your breathing is slow, soft, natural. Each breath flows easily, without effort, without thought. The body rests fully now, still heavy and calm. There is nothing left to release, nothing left to change, nothing left to do. The mind is quiet, very quiet. almost still. Thoughts no longer form, they fade before they begin, leaving only calm, only stillness, only rest. Everything feels distant now, soft, light, almost weightless. There is nothing to return to, nothing to focus on, nothing that needs attention. Only this gentle quiet, only this calm space, only this slow, steady stillness. And as everything continues to soften, you can simply let go, gently, naturally, without effort, drifting, resting, sleeping, and far away, beyond thought, beyond awareness, the Amazon continues, quietly, endlessly, in its calm, ancient rhythm.